Alright guys, so basically what I'm looking to do today is do a tutorial for farming AD and Refinement. So I'm going to start with my main character here and just show you a few things that my main character is going to do. So I've been playing Neverwinter for a while now, and one thing I could say about it is that it is constantly being updated and adding new content, which is really preferable for an MMO. I don't know why this is one of the MMOs that I've stuck with, but it seems to be like, just one of those things where it keeps me interested. It's real basic. It's not super difficult. It's got a level of complexity that keeps me character building, and they do change. They do try to keep things balanced. PvP is pretty decent. I wish I had more in PvP, but once you get towards the end of the game, everything's just like a massive grind fest in this thing. And I don't know why that somehow keeps me interested, but I'm constantly grinding still. And one thing that is a difficult grind that I've found out is Astral Diamonds. So I'm just going to go over the Astral Diamonds and how to get a bunch of that, and then at the same time be working towards getting a large amount of refinement for items. So you guys that are playing regularly will probably have run into what refinement is, and I probably don't really need to go into detail on that too much. So one of the things that I can say you'll want to make sure that you do is you'll want to make sure that you have these Dragon Hordes enchantments anywhere you can that has a utility. And these Dragon Hordes enchantments basically give you a chance that every time you kill a monster, you have a percentage chance to have a refinement drop. So as of right now, I am hovering on this character at a 5% chance, a 7% chance, which isn't incredibly high. You can get it way higher than that. There's a mount that I don't have yet that will also proc that quite a bit. But one thing I'm working on is, and I'll show you in a minute here, when I farm AD, I pretty much do it as much of a chump as I possibly can. I'll go to Cloak Tower, which is like the lowest level dungeon you possibly can, and because the amount of AD that you get from it is exactly the same as if you jumped into a higher level dungeon, I just select the Cloak Tower. So Cloak Tower, you can pretty much go through Cloak Tower in about 7 minutes, or even less, maybe 5 minutes, depending on the type of character you have. And on a main character, it's super easy because your characters are already OP when it comes to any normal game content. The only thing that really would throw you any curveballs would pretty much be the fact that the end game content has, there's 10 modules now, and the modules, they pretty much, each time they added stronger and stronger monsters, harder dungeons, and harder bosses. So pretty much I don't even, on my weakest attack, I kill them in like one hit. And some low B levels probably find this a little aggravating, or they might even think that it's awesome because you're just marching through a dungeon and there's just no difficulty at all to it for them. And they get their astral diamonds for the day. So see right there, I got a Peridot, which is a refinement item. Pops up at the bottom right corner when you get one. So that's because the Dragon's Worth enchantments. So another thing too is every character that you can possibly make, you'll want to make any character. There's another Peridot. Any character that you basically can run the cloak tower on is another roughly 10 to 11,000 astral diamonds. You'll want to make sure as soon as you can afford VIP investing in it, because you get to get the keys that unlock lockboxes, and those lockboxes are actually really useful. You get items that you normally would have to purchase with real money, and I know in a way, having VIP sounds like you'd have to spend real money to get that, but it's not necessarily true. There's up in the top corner here something called the Astral Diamond Exchange, and you can actually exchange astral diamonds for Zen. So, and right there I chose need on a runestone. Any rank 5 runestones are usually worth picking up as well, because you can use them on your artifacts. So they're very useful. And then here's the first mini boss of the dungeon, and as you can see, a level 70 can pretty easily one-shot pretty much every boss in here. Except for maybe the final boss seems to have a little bit extra HP. I don't think I always one-shot them. But then again, I'm still kind of a scrub when it comes to some of the characters that are out there in this game. They are just, I don't know if they pretty much spent real money on their characters, which I haven't really spent money. If I had more time, I definitely would though. But they're easily put me to shame everywhere, in pretty much every category. And I don't know if they grind any different than I do, but I just try to make everything as simple as possible, and this is what I've come across when it comes to making the AD and gathering a refinement. So I don't know if I lost count, or not lost count, I'm sorry. I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention, but so far I got 2 pieces of refinement, which, sometimes I get very little and sometimes I get a ton. It's always good if you can kind of be ahead of the group that you're running with, because if you don't really hit anything, you don't actually get the credit for the kill. So here's a second boss, and he goes down in one shot as well. So definitely super simple dungeon. There's real no difficulty for a level. Really any level. It's easy across the board, but okay, so there's another piece of refinement right there. So there's your third piece. And then including the one that I picked up earlier, that obviously also is included. Somebody will pick that up, and I just need because I'm greedy. And then I'm also going to show you how to get those Dragon Hordes enchantments that I was talking about. If you didn't already know how to, it's a campaign item that you get from Tyranny of Dragons, which is an older mod. And it's something that you pretty much have to go through all the game's content to get something called boons, which make you stronger. So there's a white pearl. That's another refinement item that popped up there. I mentioned having multiple characters earlier. Lots of good reasons to have them. To have as many as many characters as you can pretty much get. Uh, as a freebie player, you only really get 2 slots. But as soon as you buy more slots, I highly recommend just filling those slots up. I have 7 slots out of my 9 that I have, which is probably not, it's not really. I lost what I was thinking about here. The character slots are the amount that I have. I realistically can't run in a decent amount of time with all of the characters that I have. I'm usually looking at about maybe an hour or 2 hours to run all 7 of them. Anything more than that, it's just not realistic for the amount of time that I have when I'm doing this. So that's the dungeon. That'll get you Astral Diamonds, and then each character that I have their utility slots filled up with those dragons enchantments, the dragon's words enchantments, and so I can get a relatively decent amount of refinement just from running the dungeons, and then I get additional AD for completing the dungeons, and then I usually just need every blue rank 5 that comes down, just because there's just more refinement. So I'll show you here. I go in here and I ran it once, and I actually would have gotten 5,900 AD, and the other 4,000 or so that was there was actually from something else that I'll show you. So I refined my 10,000 right there. Alright, so this here is campaign windows. I'm just going to go over a few things that are worth taking a look at. For making AD, you'll want to run dailies occasionally, probably specifically weeklies for Icewind Dale. The Slayer Ring of Zim is a item that sells for about 50,000 AD, and it's something that if you run your dailies and your weeklies, you can get it pretty much, I would say, easily once a week or once every other week, and it's 50,000 AD right there. And Icewind Dale quests, again, at this level, you can truck through those real quick. And even if you don't want to run too many, yeah, I mean, it's real quick. It won't take long at all. 50,000 AD right there. People are messaging me. Then you can go back here. Storm King's Thunder is a really good one. I'll show you. It's the newest content that's out. The Everfrost armor kits, they go for about 10,000 each, and it's really easy to get 2,000 Von in Blood. Running heroic encounters and running the actual dailies and weeklies while you're probably trying to get your boons is super easy. I haven't decided to grind out my boons yet, just because the next mod's coming out really soon. So I didn't really find that that's necessary to do at this time. So that's, 10,000 right there. Tyranny of Dragons is perfect for, at first, just getting the Dragon's Hordes enchantments. I have one going right now. It costs about 5,000 AD. It gives you the refinement as each character in your set is running it, and then the actual sale price on the auction house, usually they go for about 10 to 12,000 AD, so you can net that pretty quick. And then I just specifically run the 4 actually it's three quests a day, 3 daily quests. I actually just kill the dragon in the level 43 zone, Roth Valley, and it goes down pretty simple. And then I go to Well of Dragons and I grind out 2 quests there, one that gives 2 sigils and one that gives 1 sigil. And that pretty much gives me the 4 that I need. 6 gold is super easy to, I'm always just gathering more gold from crafting, so that's easy to get. And then you back up. Dread Ring is always worth running because every quest in Dread Ring itself gives you a refinement item for your actual artifacts, and that's good. And then another, and I hope that they don't change this because of the video or any videos that people might put this information up, but take a look at the legacy items. Sorry, I went into the wrong thing. The legacy items, these items here, super easy to get, and they go for 3,000 refinement points each. And the other thing about this is I'm going to wait until a double refinement, and then I'm going to literally just dump anything that I have left into grabbing these. So now that I'm doing this daily, the quests to get refinement, that's something I should be able to buy quite a decent amount of refinement just on the legacy items. Underdark, there's not really sure what the best way to gather AD out of Underdark is. What I started doing, and people might disagree with the way I've started going, Astral Diamonds conversion I started doing. A lot of people might get a Greater Demonic Key and run the dungeon, which is not bad. You can do that. It's it's going to get you most of that phase rest essence back, and then the items that you can do, you can salvage that you get from there. So not really a right or wrong way, I guess, to sink your resources from doing the quests out of it. Sharandar, you'll run your Sharandar quests, and the Fey Blessing is there's 2 things that you might want to. The Fey Blessing, for one, you can sell. It sells for 14 to 18,000 currently on the auction house, and if you're running dailies, again, it's not something that's difficult to get your hands on, and you're pretty much netting about another 13,000, 8,000 to 13,000 AD just from this thing right here. And another thing for AD, for this, there is a Potion of Heroism, and the Potion of Heroism, they go for about 3k a piece, and I would say in about 1 rotation of Sharandar quests, which I can probably do a quest a minute at this point. You gather up all your quests in an area and you knock them all out. You basically, if you have any kind of character that has a area of effect attacks, you can knock out those quests super quick with no trouble at all. And just make sure that you're not running back and forth and wasting time. But if you know how to quest pretty quick, you can do about 3-4 minutes a zone. Probably about 15-20 minutes you can buy one of these potions. You'll end up with 9 thaumaturgic refinement stones, and then you'll also be able to get a Fey Blessing, which will sell for 13 to 18,000 or 14 to 18,000 on the auction house. So that's pretty much it as far as working the trees there, the boon or the campaign stuff. So you'll get quite a bit of money out of that for AD. If you end up sticking these Dragon's Horde enchantments on all your characters, each character that you run to get your AD on a dungeon from will also receive refinement, and then every one of my characters is actually doubles as its own a storage character. So my cleric just holds all my refinement. My HR holds all of my marks for actually upgrading your refinement items. This character just carries extra gear that might be worth something to my characters later down the road if I feel like using them. My guardian fighter just holds consumables that I might need at some point. I don't like really wasting items, and then usually when I get too much room, I'll just sell a 99 stack, and then I get that even generates some more income. My great weapons fighter and my scourge warlock really don't carry much of anything at this time, but basically, as you can see, with 7 characters, if I run all 7 characters, the AD that I generate alone from them is about 80,000 because I have VIP, so I get an additional 10% of the AD when I run these dungeons. And then when I run my main, I get about 4,000 from Underdark. When I process the astral, I get the astral diamond conversion. I get about 11,000. I guess I should say I net about another 6,000 when I sell Dragon's Horde enchantments because I have to spend 5,000 on it. So that puts me at about I'd say about 86. Another 13 from Fey Blessing, which puts me at about 99,000. If I happen to be on a week where I'm getting that Slayer Ring of Zim, that just kind of adds as a weekly, but if you break that down, I guess that's another 5,000 or 6,000 in a day. And I'm losing count pretty much at this point, but you can pretty much see how easy it is to start grabbing AD once you hit this level. And it's really useful to just kind of look around for any opportunity that you can do. Another thing that I do for refinement, and as of right now, this character is working on alchemy because I want to do my elemental conversion for my gear, which will add a few more stat points to it, which is really useful. But leadership, and when you get leadership all the way up, you can pretty much just everything's refinement at the end, which is great. And the only thing that sucks about it is you'll have to break up what you're actually getting. Like you can get 3 resonance bags, 3 thaumaturge bags, I believe, and then 3 of something else. But as of right now, like I do one of these very large bags of chests of goods. I usually run a barrel of goods, and then in order to keep regenerating so that I can do the large goods, I will usually get 3 mining claims going as well. And as you can see, my refinement or my leadership and stuff is not the highest right now. Leadership takes a while to build, and I slacked off big time when I first started playing this game on my my professions. So that's probably the best tutorial I can really give you, and I'm doing it kind of live, so that doesn't really help, I'm sure, as far as being structured, but I'm sure that anybody who knows a little bit about farming will probably be able to take a few pointers away from this. So if you guys have any questions, just post them down below, and that's pretty much it. So have a good day, guys.